Matt Hamley is going to be joined by Annabelle Mikesell, Kendra Lake, and Mila Hamley. And we popped them on from Greenville, North Carolina. Matt, thank you so much. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How are you guys?
We are good. We've been watching you from home, and we've been loving it.
Awesome. Thanks for the support.
You got it. A couple of wins give you a couple of days to get ready for the next game. What's that been like for you as a coach?
Yeah, different experience so far down here this year. Getting the first win under our belt was good, and then getting that second one was big as well. Uh, After we won that second game, we knew we were going to have 2 days off, so that helped. But now we're kind of in a weather delay situation where a couple of the games got rained out yesterday, and now they've had to make some adjustments to the schedule for today and set up a couple of double headers, um, which those are now delayed. So I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest with you. I don't know if the games are going to get played today with the amount of rain that is happening today. And also, they were supposed to have the AU uh, Athletes Unlimited professional softball game tonight too, a doubleheader as well. We're hoping that that still gets to go and we get to go watch that. But as of right now, these games are in delay and the schedule's probably getting reworked as we speak to figure something out. So I don't know if we'll play tomorrow or not. I would assume at the moment they're going to delay us to maybe Friday, but with ESPN and
Right.
ABC, I don't know how all that will work out. That's why I felt a little extra pressure to win that second game and to make sure that we stayed in the winners bracket because who knows? I mean, I've seen where tournaments eliminate the losers bracket, so hopefully that doesn't happen. I want everybody to get to play everything out down here, no matter what the results are. And I guess we just got to take it day by day and see what happens.
Yeah, the thing that we know about softball is no matter how big the tournament is you're in or how many people are watching, Mother Nature undefeated, and we don't need that lesson. And we saw the rain delays yesterday, rain today. Unfortunate, but we know that you guys will still venture through. I want to talk about these first two wins. Grinding out wins, being able to take the opportunities to score when they come. Let's talk about your offense first and what you saw from your hitters, and to be able to go up against really quality pitching and just, like I said, take those opportunities to score when you get them and make sure that you're taking the advantage of the opportunities you get.
Yeah, so that first game against Mexico was big. Like I said, I mentioned before, we found a little film on them. So we were able to game plan a little bit offensively. We knew what the pitcher was going to throw. We knew where she was going to want to throw the ball. We made a game plan for it, and our girls came out and attacked it right away. We were able to scratch a run in the first inning. Should have been two, but that's okay. But they put the bat on the ball right away, and then we just do play our game when we could bunt and I don't think we really stole any bases in that first game. That catcher was good, so we didn't get a chance to really test her arm. But we had the hits. We strung hits together when we needed to, which was good. Defense played great, and then in the second game, we hit the ball well, really well. Kind of the same type of pitcher. She threw a little differently, but about the same speed is the first girl that we seen. So our girls were ready to go. We did hit the ball. We just kept leaving runners on base. Um, so it took us a while to scratch our first run. We'd get on base, we'd get hits, but couldn't string them together enough to scratch a run. So then I think it was in the fourth inning when we finally scored. Um, you know, uh, I have a little thing that I've done for probably 2-3 years now, where it just so happens to work out where it's like the top of the lineup is coming up to bat, and I give them a little talk, and I challenge those girls that are coming up to bat to make something happen for us, and every time I do that, they step up to the plate. I think that was the inning where Annabelle comes out and smacks that shot to the fence, um, and then I think Mila bunted her over, and I forget what happened after that. I forget what happened with Marissa, but then Bella Mattern was able to squeeze her in. Annabelle executed it. Bella did a great job putting the bunt down, getting around the ball to be safe at first, and Annabelle flew into home. And scratched that first run. So that was huge. And, that one run was going to be enough for us. But Lexi Petrilla came up big in her at bat and was able to drive in another run as well. So uh, offensively, we've got the hits. We just didn't get the runs in that second game that we'd like to. We probably should have won that game 7 or 8-0, but it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to take what we could get and move on. Mila's done a good job in the circle. Our defense has had her back. Um, our next game will be tough. We're facing a girl that's very good pitcher, and their offense is very athletic. They can hit the ball, and they've shut out a couple teams as well. So looking forward to that matchup, and then hopefully we can get our offense going there too.
Yeah, I want to talk about Annabelle's slide because that was just the perfect slide at home. It's been replayed on ESPN. It's been replayed on Little League social media. Do you practice that? Is that something that you knew that she had the training to be able to go in with that kind of slide and that kind of situation perfectly to the back of home plate, right where she needed to go?
You know, I would say these girls definitely practice sliding. Some of them, it's kind of a natural thing though. Not everybody is as skilled at sliding. It takes time and instincts as well. And you've seen it a little bit with Annabelle. Annabelle slide was huge in that game to score. And then uh, not to take anything away from her, but Mila had a couple as well where it's just an instinctive thing where they have to see how the play is developing and where the tag is going to be, and to know to lift up their hand, swipe the bag, grab the back of the bag, or touch the corner of the plate, or know where to slide, when to slide. But those slides were huge, and if they didn't execute the way that they did in those moments, then we don't score those runs, and you know it's a different story.
I want to talk about being able to challenge, plays in this round, being able to have the cameras and the angles to be able to say, hey, we want to take a second look at that. That's not something that you're used to as a coach, I'm sure. Last year you were able to do it too, but what's it been like for you to adjust to being able to do that and trying to be strategic with it? Sometimes maybe using it as a little bit of a timeout too, to be able to talk to your girls during the review. What's that been like for you to be able to kind of put on those shoes and to be able to challenge plays?
Yeah, it's a great dynamic that we have. I wish we could have it all the time, and travel ball all year round. It's awesome because at the end of the day, you just want to get the call right for the girls, whichever way that goes. But to have the ability to, if I'm over at third base and I see something, happen at first base, I think the girl's safe, or sliding into third, the umpire has one view, they call her safe or out, and I've seen it the other way. It's great to, have the ability to challenge it and, go to the replay booth and make sure that they got it right. And, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't know if they love us, challenging those plays. The umpires, they feel like they got it right. But like I said, at the end of the day, the goal is to get it right for the girls. You don't, one call can be huge. And I burned a couple of both of our challenges the other night in that game. Um, luckily it didn't come back to haunt us, but uh the one slide into third base, I seen something. I knew she was probably going to be out, but I kind of seen something where I thought Marissa was safe at third base, and then I also challenged Kendra being safe at first base, and it was very very close. But it's the same thing with like football. Sometimes it's they make the
Right.
call, it might be wrong. However, do they have enough evidence to turn it over and change the call? So the call on the field, is a big deal sometimes. For them to turn it over, it's sometimes it's going to be a little tougher. But at the end of the day, like I said, just getting the calls right for the girls. But it's great to have the ability to try.
We've all become accustomed to those words, indisputable evidence, right?
Yeah.
Indisputable video evidence on the field. Coach, the other thing I want to talk to you about, which is new, is getting you mic'd up and being able to be heard on ESPN and everyone can hear the things you say. What's that been like for you to be able to know that people are listening?
I don't pay too much attention to it. Obviously, I kind of just do my thing. Nothing really changes. Obviously, I gotta make sure I don't slip up and say anything too bad on TV. But other than that, I mean, I'm kind of the same person on, mic'd up or not. Uh, just trying to be positive to the girls when they're in the box. Celebrating when they get a big hit or slide or whatever it is. I would like to think that I haven't changed if I'm mic'd up or not.
The ESPN crew loved the shout out to Coach Bob because it
Oh
was
yeah.
just, hey, remember what Coach Bob taught you? And they ran with that. They had a lot of fun with shouting out Coach Bob because there was no last name given. So it was just, hey, shout out to Coach Bob out there. It's real fun to be able to have those kind of moments, and I'm sure you're going to be able to look back on those games and watch replays and be like, "Oh, that was cool that I was able to have that moment with my player," or everyone was able to hear kind of how I was able to coach, my pitchers in the circle or my hitters in these big situations, and I think that's really cool to be able to have those moments. Scotty, you have any questions for the skipper?
Yeah, I have a question for you. I was thinking about kind of, piggybacking off of something you just said. As a coach, I get the vibes. It seems like you have you stay pretty even kill, calm demeanor. But is it hard for you, and how do you find that balance of getting your point across, making sure your voice is heard, but also kind of not being like too loud and kind of like that jerk to where they legitimately like they start like tuning you out or fear you. I guess what I'm saying is, how do you find that balance of just keeping your cool, but also making sure that your voice is heard?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say overall, just being who I am. I've coached these girls a long time. Some of them for 4 or 5 years, maybe even more for some of them. And I'm very tough on them. At practices, I demand a lot from them. Uh, the standards are high, and I push them to be the best that they can be. However, when we get out onto the field, I do feel like I take a different approach for the most part, especially defensively. I try to tell them to, stay calm. Just, if they make a mistake, I'm not going to go out there and scream at them. I'm not going to rip them off the field and pull them out of the game. Mistakes are going to happen, and they know that I know that. And I want them to be loose and understand that it's okay if they make a mistake. It's not the end of the world. They got to move on to the next play. However, offensively, you could probably see me get fired up a little more. I'm extremely aggressive on the bases. Uh, and one thing that I don't want to say I get upset about, but I'm very passionate about, is taking the next base when it's there. There's a couple times, and I say it all the time, people get caught watching the game sometimes. So say there's a play at home and our girl's safe at first base. I need that girl to be on second base. Everybody's standing around watching what just happened on the play at the plate, but we got to advance. I'm looking to get the next runner to second base or third base now, so you can't get caught watching the game. So you might have heard me yelling and screaming a little bit at girls. And unfortunately, it's after they got a hit or they put down a huge bunt. But I never want them to settle, and I tell them, do not celebrate when you get to first base or second base. You celebrate when you scratch a run and come across the plate. Don't settle for first or second. Keep trying to take 60 feet every second you get. Um, so that's when I get fired up. But I'm a fiery guy. However, in the games, I try to be somewhat calm.
I don't think Matt Hamley could ever completely be a calm person. The way we've been watching you for the last couple of years coaching, that's just who you are, buddy. We love it. We know that your Austintown fans feed off your energy too, so never change, buddy. We know that we have some players with you, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll bring them in now. Hold on. Come on, knuckleheads.
So we are joined by 3 members of the Austintown Little League team in Greenville, North Carolina. I think from left to right on your camera is Mila Hamley, Annabelle Mikesell, and then Kendra Lake. So we'll just go from left to right answering just to keep it all organized in these questions. Girls, one of the things I want to talk about first and foremost is what's it been like just handling the stage of Little League World Series and being able to stay calm, cool, and collected. If you take rotation lock off your phone, it'll show
Oh.
it to you guys.
Okay.
There you go. Got it. Yeah. So
Thank
what's it been like for you guys to handle kind of the stage and the big lights? You were there last year. You come back this year, being able to handle all the kind of emotions and excitement that come with playing at this stage.
I think it's definitely easier this year because we know what to expect, and I guess we know what is ahead of us, I guess.
It definitely calms the nerves and it makes us enjoy it more because I feel like last year we all played very tight and we weren't like in it as much as we should have been. I feel like we were all scared because of how many cameras were there, and I feel like we were all more worried about that than the game that we love and enjoy playing. So I think we're all more free than we were last year.
I want to talk about just the confidence. How much confidence do you guys have this year in yourselves coming into this, and now with 2 wins under your belt?
I'd say that we're more confident than this year since we had a great regional competition. So I think we're definitely ready for the World Series, and we have great competition here.
I think we're confident, but you don't want to be overconfident. You just need to stay within yourself and don't get too cocky about it, but we're confident enough to get through it.
I also think that we were confident. I think everyone has been playing loose and it's been going great, and everyone's just having a good mindset. So I think that's going really well.
I want to talk about the offensive side of your game, and I talked about this with Coach. You guys have taken advantage of the opportunities to score that you've been given. You know, scoring is hard at this level. You're getting a lot of good pitching thrown at you. From an offensive perspective, what's it been like to just find the opportunities to score and try to take advantage of every kind of opportunity you get?
I think you have to be smart about what you're doing in the game to try and score. Like either you want to hit or bunt, and I think it's definitely important to know what you're talking about.
Um,
I think sometimes it's very hard to score a run because you have to first get the runners on the base and you have to find a way to squeeze the ball and to move the runners in. So I think sometimes it's difficult. It depends on each team's defense, but I think sometimes you just gotta know where the ball is going.
So Mila and Annabelle, you both have very creative slides in this tournament that have kind of gone on the highlight reels, gone a little bit viral. Talk about what you guys kind of do to get ready for those kind of moments, and what you guys saw in those opportunities to slide and like kind of shift your body or slide to the right side of the bag to avoid the tag and to make sure you guys are safe.
Honestly, mine for me is kind of just a thing that happens. I'm not trying to like really try and do anything special just to get to the bag and try to be safe.
for my side, it was a little different because we needed a run, so I was trying to score. So when I saw the ball was down, I was going. But before I saw the ball was down, I saw that the catcher actually popped up out and went to get the ball. So I saw that there was a clear opening for me, and if I got away from her as far as I could, there would be less of a chance of her diving back at me and actually getting me. So I tried to get around her and as far away as I could of her.
Kendra, I want to talk about your offense too, and being able to just find ways to help your team in this lineup that is, 1 through 12, just really good and consistent. How have you kind of found your role and found your place in this offense?
I've kind of found my way in the offense by just making sure you know where the ball is going, and when you swing, you got to make sure you keep your eyes on the ball and just make sure you're keeping contact.
Mila, got to talk about your pitching because it's been discussed a lot in this tournament. And last year, you pitched well, but it was well documented that you pitched a lot leading up to the World Series, and there were some things that I'm sure you wish you could have done better after that weekend was over last year. Talk about your mindset coming into this year, what your goals were, and what you wanted to do to make sure that you were putting your best foot forward in the circle this weekend.
Well, this year, I guess it was a redemption round for us. So I was really focusing on doing the best I can for my team and focusing on all my pitching mechanics and trying to do my best.
And then you two get to play defense behind her. And although you haven't been able to play much defense with all the strikeouts she's been racking up, what's it like to see her work in the circle and to be able to play defense behind a pitcher that's doing so many good things so far in this tournament?
I find it so fun because I really like to I try to motivate people a lot, and I just like talking to her. I don't know if even she hears me. I don't really think she hears me, to be honest. I think I just blabber out a lot of things, but I just find it fun to support her and stand there even if we don't get much action.
I find it just amazing the way she pitches. I love yelling in the outfield to her, even though she probably doesn't hear me. And it's just amazing watching her pitch.
So here you are, you're 2-0. You have, everything in front of you to try to get this World Series championship. What's kind of the mindset the last couple of days? You've been dealing with some rain delays. You haven't been able to get on the field, I'm sure, because of the rain, just kind of sitting around. What have you been doing to stay engaged, stay locked in, and trying to, make sure that when you do get to play, whenever that is, you're as locked in as possible?
You really just gotta try to stay within yourself and not try to get ahead of yourself and take it one game at a time. Just focusing on each one.
Yeah, you just gotta stay mentally prepared for it. Mentally, physically, you have to just, yeah, take it one game at a time. No game's guaranteed. They play the game for a reason, so you just gotta stay mentally in it.
You really got to stay focused in the game, take one step at a time. You can't just really think that you're going to go in a game and just say, oh, we're going to win this. You have to have a good mindset to go into the game.
What are some things you guys have done in the last couple of days off the field that make this experience fun, that build team chemistry, and just make sure that you guys are enjoying the time down there in Greenville? What kind of things have you been doing off the field?
We've went to a food bank today with the AU players, and we some shucked corn, I think it was. And we got to talk to them, and we got to give back to a community in need because we get a lot of things, so it's always good to give back.
Yeah, I want to talk about AU being down there. You get to see professional softball players are going to be playing games down there in Greenville. You get to meet them, you get to interact with them. What's that been like for you guys to be able to kind of rub elbows with literally some of the best players in the country?
I think it's such an amazing experience to have them down here and that we're also able to watch them, to look up to our role models, and also be able to have conversations with them and ask them questions.
Yeah, it's really cool to get to meet people or really good softball players because they're who you look up to and who you want to be like. So you always pick one. It's oh, want to be like them when I grow up.
It is really cool meeting all these people you would see on television and just thinking about how you would also look up to them one day, and maybe that one day you'll be them on television. It's really nice to meet them.
And we can't let you guys go without talking about the Minions video after the win
Right.
on Monday. This one, it exploded on social media. It's been shared thousands on thousands of times. We shared on YSN. Was that someone's idea? Was that creative? Who was the mastermind, I guess I should say, of that TikTok / Instagram reel?
So in the dugout during the game, we were already saying it, and so I guess someone was saying it. I wasn't there yet. People were saying it when we got out of the dugout, but they were saying it, and yeah, the little league guy heard them saying it, so he was like, "Do you guys want to film that?" So we did that. It was super fun.
It was classic. Great timing, and you guys nailed it. One of the last things I want to ask before we let you guys go is just shout out the community that's been behind you guys, the people, whether they're in Greenville watching you or watching at home, what they mean to you and how much you have felt the support of Austintown, Ohio, down there while you're fighting it out for a World Series championship.
I think it's so amazing, especially since before we left, we had a send off. I think that was so good to know that our community is behind us and that they're rooting for us at home.
It feels really good to have people behind you because, like, you can't do anything without people behind you because, like, yeah, you can't do anything without people behind you. So it's really nice to know they're there. And no matter what happens while we're here, when we go home, we know that they'll be proud of us either way.
It really is amazing seeing your community or your neighbors or your family and friends watching you at home, cheering you on, texting you, saying how good the game was. And it's also really nice having your community behind your back.
Girls and Coach Hamley, we thank you so much for your time and hopping on with us to talk about your time down there in Greenville. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the way. We hope you bring back a big trophy, and we can't wait to see you again real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it.